right, we're recording. I'm gonna start this video off by saying you will never get that old Ramadan feeling. It's just a fact. So when I was a child, when I was going through the ages of like 7 until 12, I used to wait for Ramadan in anticipation, looking at all the possibilities that Ramadan could bring to my life. Especially the bazaar Ramadans, going through the daily routines of going to school, as well as understanding that during my life at that time, I was going to two schools at that point, especially when you're in Malaysia and you're a Malay Muslim. You will often go to the sekolah kebangsaan, and then you're going to go to sekolah agama or religious school at the end of the day. So things changed for me. So from the ages of 7 until I was 10, I attended public school, sekolah kebangsaan and everything. And when I was around 11 to 12, I basically changed schools because of my disciplinary behaviors in school. So it kind of changed during that, and it kind of changed along when I was in high school. Things start to slowly develop, and I started reminiscing towards the days that Ramadan could be how it was, because when going through Ramadan, you anticipate how you are going to be and how you're going to live your life, especially during Raya, after Raya. When I was 7 years old, it was 2005. I, year one, naughty, not knowing what I want to do with my life, not knowing what I really wanted, but I was a child, what do you expect? I was more concerned about, watching cartoons or creating a havoc or a menace or being a menace in my family. So I didn't really care about it until I get to this point in my age where I kind of realized that a lot of people especially at my age, 20s and above, university students, post-education students, people who are getting married, people who are more or less in that realm of life in where they're just there as people. And I realized that you will never ever get that old Ramadan feeling. When I say that old Ramadan feeling, I mean when you're celebrating with your friends, when you're practicing and participating in doing Ramadan with your friends, when you're hanging out with them, when you're going back and forth, meeting them, especially during that age where everything was so new, everything was so cherishable. And now you get at this age where things are becoming slowly painful. You kind of realize that you're not really gonna get that old Ramadan feeling back, to a sense in where you will never be able to have that level of anticipation as well as happiness during that time. I will say to this point in my life, there's only been one Ramadan that really spoke out to me, and that was really apparent and that was when I was 17 years old. It was the last year, before I finished my SPM, Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia, and during that time I was going to the gym occasionally, not even really doing anything much, but lifting stupid weights, and I was just hanging out with my friends. And to an extent, that was during the time where I found my love for watching videos, or to an extent even rapping. And the reason why I say it's so memorable is because when I was going through that period, it was a moment of discovery. It was a moment of new. It was a moment of I'm doing something new. As well as how time goes by, you don't really get that feeling anymore. You kind of realize that you become jaded. You become less anticipative of Ramadan because of the regular habits that you inhibit and exhibit every day, and especially during Ramadan. I can't find a reason why Ramadan shouldn't be a moment of celebration, but a lot of people look at it as a moment of quiet anticipation. The one thing that I kind of saw, especially during Ramadan, is the fact that when people are going through their daily lives, just living their life, doing what they should, doing what they could, Ramadan becomes almost like a stopping factor for them to do the things that they want. And rightfully so, because it is a moment where you're supposed to focus on your deen, focus on your religion. But you slowly evolve yourself into becoming less participative of the practices during Ramadan. Going for Tarawih, giving donations, and basically trying to be a better Muslim in general. We don't do that anymore. We rarely do that. And it's not really a fault of ourselves or a fault of our own. It's just through the passing of time, we kind of see things going off, and that feeling of Ramadan slowly goes away. And as well as that slow realization that Eid Mubarak is not going to be the same. Or, it's not going to be the same. Hari Raya is never going to be the same. But to this point and to that extent where I'm at with my life now, I kind of want that now. I want to be able to say that this Ramadan was different from the other one, because I am making more and more changes in my life. I don't want to say that I haven't done anything during Ramadan. That's why even before Ramadan, we set goals. We set what we want to do. Some people don't, and that's fine. That's them and God. But during Ramadan, it was always important for me to set up a goal, because I want to be able to achieve something. I want to be able to complete a goal during Ramadan. I want to be able to do something during Ramadan that is important to me. Look, I get it. During Ramadan especially, is not the easiest thing in the world. It's not the fanciest. It's not the most fun. You're starved and you're thirsty. It's not really the most creative part in your life as well. A lot of people who are in the creative field, they stop. And even people working regular jobs, they slow down a bit. And rightfully so, because you're supposed to be focusing on your deen. Some people make businesses. Some people open up shop. Some people sell things online. Some people start businesses during Ramadan. Some people make bank. Some people lose money. And I think that's fine. Because if Ramadan was the same every year, the same experience, the same moments you go through every year are the same, then you're not really moving your life. And I think Ramadan as Muslims is a time for change in our lives, because we see the change happening right in front of us. We see the things that we work on really, grow into fruition. I forgot what the fucking word is, but we kind of see the results that we wanted. It's not the fact that we are running away from what we want, but the fact that we're doing what we need to do to get closer to what we actually do need, which is a closer relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The few things that I see with people during Ramadan is the fact that we hold ourselves back from doing the most that we can, because of the fact that we have that nostalgic feeling, especially in Malaysia. Like, if you break your fast with your family, you know for a fact when you get on that dining table, you're putting on the TV, you're waiting for the Maghrib Azan from TV3. The moment the Azan even starts, everyone's just going down and they're just reading doa buka puasa, doa makan, and then we're just chowing down, we're just eating and eating and eating. Those are some of the few things that should stay, in my opinion, because it brings people together. But what shouldn't stay is our complacent attitude towards how we actually want to approach Ramadan. Like, honestly speaking, one of the few things that I hate during Ramadan is when people are not doing the things that they know they could be doing to make their lives better, to grow their lives. But why don't they do that? Why don't they do that? It's because they see it as an unnecessary amount of work for a short period of time. And to be honest, I think that's bad of them to think about. Especially during Ramadan, when you know that the barakah that you're gonna get from doing the hard work is gonna multiply. You should. Ramadan is never gonna be the same. You will never get that old Ramadan feeling. You will never get that old Ramadan feeling. And why would you? Why would you want that old Ramadan feeling? And we're like, oh my God, it's like when I was a child. No, it's meant to be challenging. It's meant to be a fight within yourself to go against all the things, all the bad habits that you have, for you to go against it. You're supposed to fight your urges. You're supposed to be better. Well, not many people do that. Not many people make the effort to actually go and become better people during Ramadan. What do a lot of people do? After breaking their fast, some go smoke. Some people even miss their Maghrib. Me occasionally. Solat ganti, tak apa. Rasanya that shouldn't be a point of reference. However, I will say that when it comes to some of these people, they never even make an effort for Ramadan. I see people not fasting at all. I see people never going for Tarawih. I see people not doing their supplications, their prayers. And I think that's a loss for them, and to a sense is a loss for a lot of us. Because we should be striving for that. We should be striving for the want and the need to be better Muslims. I don't want to be that guy, because in Malaysia kita semua tahu there's that trope of like Islam dalam IC. Especially Malay people, Islam dalam IC is such a prominent illness to our community and to our race that it becomes almost sickening. And I'm not saying that I'm the best Muslim. The Lord knows I'm not the best. Allah only knows I am a horrible Muslim at times, but I try. Because you know what's funny? One of the fears that I have is a fear of failure, and it manifests itself into the form of perfectionism or being a perfectionist. Perfectionism, blah blah blah, all the same shit. And what's funny about that whole thing is the fact that Allah doesn't want you to be perfect. Allah knows you're a flawed being. He made you perfect in how you were created, with freedom and free will. He gave you that. He didn't even give the angels. He gave us that. For us, we're the perfect being. But He's the most perfect. God doesn't want us to be perfect because He's perfect. And for us to even strive to be perfect is ridiculous. And I also see that in a lot of people during Ramadan before. They're like, I've met, like, the most common comment I've heard from my friends and some people that I've met along the way is basically, I've fucked up every other Ramadan in my life. How is this going to be any different? True. But do you want this to be your final Ramadan? Do you want your final Ramadan to be you not making any effort for your afterlife? Do you want your final Ramadan to be you saying, I'm okay with not doing my best. I'm okay with leaving this world with whatever I have, knowing that you haven't done much. You will never get that old Ramadan feeling. You will never get that old Ramadan feeling. And you shouldn't. You shouldn't strive for that old Ramadan feeling. Because why are you striving for something that was never meant to be long? Just like how Ramadan is. It's only 30 days. A few years back it was 29 days, but who's counting? For something that is so short-lived, creates such an impact for us as the people who are practicing it and participating in it. Wanting that old Ramadan feeling, not sustainable. Realizing that every Ramadan can be different is. And on that note, I'll talk to you guys soon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Take care, stay safe, and be well.